Back with another Savage video. Thanks to everyone that's liking, sharing, subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, commenting, and all that cool stuff. You guys are freaking awesome. And I've been answering more comments lately than in the past like 3 years. So it's been a challenge, but thanks so much for being a part of the community and participating and asking questions and all that cool stuff. You guys are awesome. Let's say you have one GPU that runs hotter than others, or one GPU that's crashing your rig for some reason, but you don't know exactly which physical GPU it is because you are such a boss and you build rigs with all identical GPUs, and you just kind of throw the 1x PCIe adapters in and the USB cables as they fit, and you're not exactly sure which physical GPU is which in the operating system. In this super quick video, I'm going to show you how to identify the different GPUs in your rig. Maybe one is giving you problems, but you aren't sure which one. So the scenario is one or more GPUs are running hot or causing the rig to crash. You notice that the GPU number is listed in HiveOS, but because of troubleshooting, reconfiguring, or a multitude of other reasons, you don't really know exactly which physical GPU is which. So you need to have a way to quickly identify the GPU. The first way you could use is AMD info or Nvidia info if you are running those GPUs. So if you're running AMD GPUs, you could use AMD info, or if you're running Nvidia GPUs, you could use Nvidia info. So in HiveOS, you would come over and let's say that this was on the Mustafar rig and this GPU right here was running hot. Okay, so you've got one GPU that's just consistently hotter than the others. You think that maybe it's time to change the thermal paste or replace a fan or something like that. But you don't know exactly which GPU it is in the rig. So if you come over here and click on the rig, and then you can click on shell in a box here, the IP address, or you could do the remote access, and then a lot of these will work, but we're going to use the shell in a box. And if you just do it here, it just goes right to it. I like that. Thanks to HashRaptor for showing me that. So once you get into the rig, it's user, and then 1 is the password by default. User is the username, 1 is the password by default. You can, let's see, this rig is an AMD rig, so you could do AMD-info, like that. And this will tell you some information, and if you have maybe if you know like the UUIDs of the GPUs, or see some other identifying factors, like let's say that the rig isn't all RX 580s, it's not all identical GPUs, but you maybe have 2 of each or something, then this can kind of help you identify which GPU is which, but it's not enough information. So in order to literally find the GPU that is bad, or identify the GPU based on the ID, like the GPU 7, GPU 6, to know what HiveOS is seeing as that particular GPU number, you can use the GPU fans find tool. So you'll go GPU fans -find, like that. So it's GPU -fans -find, and then you'll press enter. And what this is going to do is it's going to stop the miner. It's going to stop all the auto fan session, the auto fan settings, and then it's going to stop all the fans. Then it's going to fire up the fans one by one, starting with GPU 0, going to GPU 1, and then 2, and so on and so forth. And as this is happening, what's happening on the rig is the fans are stopped except for the number that is currently designated right here that is telling you it's spinning the fans on GPU 2 now. So if you look at the rig, it would be GPU 2 is the only one that has the fan spinning right now. And then we got GPU 3. So GPU 2's fans will shut down, and GPU 3's fans will turn on. I don't know if it spins them at 100%, but it's definitely fast enough to where you can tell, you know, that they're running. So then you got GPU 4. It looks like it runs it for about 10 seconds, maybe a little bit longer. And then it shuts down GPU 4, starts GPU 5. So this is just a really easy way of identifying the GPUs in the rig, what numbers they are, what HiveOS sees them as the numbers. And this is going to vary wildly on your hardware, you know, your motherboard, you know, lots of different factors here. But typically your OS is going to identify it based on some type of ID. Usually it's the PCIe slot that it's in, but you got to know how your PCIe slots are numbered. And this just helps identify the GPU. And then once it's done, you're going to see that it does restore the OC settings. It starts the auto fan and it starts up the miner again and should get you back to where you were before you started the GPU fans find utility. And you can actually see right here on GPU 7, it still has 100% on the fan. So it does look like it gives it 100%. So that's cool. So now the miner is firing back up. You'll see hash rate here in just a moment. And then remember, especially with Team Red miner, it's going to start with lower hash rate and kind of work its way up. And this is only on a 30-second delay or a 30-second refresh. You know, I don't sit here and hit the refresh. I just let it go. So in about 15 more seconds, we should see 31.5 mega hash per second. Okay, I was close. 30.75. It'll probably go up to like 31.5, somewhere around in there. Pretty much the same thing happens with an Nvidia rig. We'll go to savagemine.conceal here, and you can see how they are numbered here. I need to actually, because of the numbering, if I wanted to get this the way I would like it, which would be 1070, 1070, 1070 Ti, 1070 Ti, 1080, 1080, you know, in order like that, I've got to actually physically move the GPUs because they're in there in just random order. So, yeah, it's just kind of funny, but let's see. So we can look at doing the same thing here. So you got Nvidia info, Nvidia-info, that will give you some information. Again, kind of helps you if you know a little bit about your GPUs and how they are arranged and all that stuff. So that might help you. But you can also do the GPU-fans-find. And the same thing happens here. Miner goes down, shuts the miner down. Now on this particular rig, these are the Founders Edition 10 series, and they have the LED on the top that says GeForce, I believe. And what it does is it doesn't really turn all the fans off. But what this does to my rig, this particular utility here, is it lights up the LED only on the one that is listed here. So for GPU 0, it only turned on the LED on the top of the GPU for that one. Then it moves on to GPU 1, GPU 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is a 6 GPU rig, and it only lights the LED on the GPU that's being identified at that moment, if that makes sense. Now, what I have is, this is kind of like what I've discovered here is possibly a little bug, I guess you could say, because what will happen is once this is over and all the LEDs have been lit, it will, or once it's cycled through all the LEDs, it won't turn the LEDs back on. So they'll just be off, although the miner will be back up and running, which is actually kind of cool because then it's using less power, not that much, but you know, it is using a little bit less power. So it's kind of a bonus thing here that happens with this particular rig. Let me know, you know, in the comments if you guys experience the same thing with your Nvidia GPUs, and maybe this is a known issue with HiveOS. Don't know. So there you go. It's starting the Phoenix miner again. So if we go back over to the rig, this is what we see. I'm going to let the 30-second refresh happen. Okay, so there we are. We are back up and running and back up and mining. Everything looks good. And there are other methods. Like if you aren't running HiveOS, you could use the son of a tech method. He talked about this, I think, on a video today or yesterday. Once you've identified the GPU ID that's giving you problems, you can stop the miner, set all the fans to 100%, then decrease the one GPU that you are, cycle through each of them to identify them, put the one that is giving you problems down to 10%, and then you'll be able to kind of tell which one is which, because all of them will be on 100% fans except for one will be on 10%. Another kind of simple way is if you've got one that is overheating, oftentimes, like if it's a lot, oftentimes you can just simply touch the back plate of the GPU if you've got a back plate, and you can pretty much tell, if you go down the line, you can pretty much tell which one is hotter than the rest. So that is another way of actually finding it. Let's see what else you could do. If there's one GPU that's not mining, like let's say that it's crashed in the miner but hasn't caused the rig to crash, then it might be, like let's say it's not identified by the miner, or it's not identified by the OS, like HiveOS, then it'll be colder, much colder, if it's not mining than the rest of the GPU. So again, you could just touch the GPU, back plate, or on the top, probably, maybe even the IO shield, and figure out which one is not mining based on the heat that it's giving off. So that's just another way of doing it. There's all kinds of ways, but I do like this way of finding it with the GPU fans find tool that is included with HiveOS. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If this was a entertaining, educational video that made sense and helped you out in any way, leave me a comment below. I will see you guys next time. Probably, most likely tonight. I will probably be doing a video tonight, live stream at 9:30 Eastern time. So stay tuned for that, or get ready for that tonight. Stay savage, everybody.